Okay, so hi, welcome back to our closing session. I welcome you all back, and just 5 short days ago, I was up here welcoming you here. What an exciting 5 days. You know, it was perfect. We had the music about Welcome Back and Welcome Back Cotter, and it was really, truly a very informative, entertaining week. So this agenda is an interesting agenda, and first we have to start off by thanking you all for coming. The reality is that we're out of the pandemic, but nonetheless, you all had to think about this, and we're grateful that you came. One of the beauties of being here is the networking opportunity, which is impossible to have on Zoom or WebEx or Teams. And we all have our favorite. I actually have none. I hate them all equally. Okay, so one of the things that we do here is we make sure that we make sure everybody gets recognized and all those other things. And we have a moment here. Right. Okay, so now we're moving on to the individual group reports. And just to remind you, so we're going to go fellow, newbies, emerging leaders, and then the patient research partners. So can we start with the report from the fellows group, please?
Thank you. I'm presenting on behalf of my fellow co-leads, Francis and Mara. Our objectives you can see there. I can't see them. No, I can. Our key objective really is to welcome the fellows into the OMERACT community, to support them on the journey, to show them the OMERACT way and to be there and guide them and hope they come back. But you can see there also the key thing, the objectives of the program are to reach a global network of experts, to the mentorship, and they got that this time not only from the fellow leads, but this time also from the Emerging Leaders program and their professional development with all the e-modules and the learning, and great collaborative opportunities, we hope. Okay, they're all the fellows. You've seen them a lot this week, which has been fantastic. They've done an amazing job. I guess this is where they're all from, and putting their thinking about diversity. And although they're from these different countries, we've got extra countries represented because they aren't all working in their home country. But I guess we should look to be doing better there. Okay, just looking at, this is actually the survey we sent to the fellows before they came. And they were looking to form new connections, they were looking to gain experience in interactive workshops, and they were looking for inspiration. Now, I don't know if they got that yet because we haven't had formal feedback from them, but we're hoping we fulfilled some of those hopes and dreams. But we will listen to you too, because this is some of the things that we got from the 2018 program, where we asked the fellows, we asked them a lot of things, but this is a summary of the things that they thought we could do differently. And we took that on board, and we did a lot of new things this time. We developed the e-learning modules, and all of you will have done those at some stage, which is good. We had a pre-meeting with Meet the Experts. Why is it doing that? I don't know. I'm not moving and it's... we did pre-meeting meet and greets, and we took the leaf out of the Patient Research Partners book for that one, and I think that interaction went well, but again, we'll have to wait for feedback on that. But they'd all had to do the e-learning modules before they came onto the meet and greet, and then there was a Q&A around that, and they all got to sort of see who each other were before they were coming, and that was led by Ayano Kelly, who unfortunately couldn't come to this meeting. The other key thing was the speed dating with the PRPs. That was new. That was a real highlight for me, actually. I'll step away from the... Kathy gave me a whistle, so I got to blow that a lot of times in that. but just the buzz in both rooms when that was happening was just amazing, and all the feedback I've had from the fellows and the PRPs was a real winner. So we'll do that one again. We had the Emerging Leaders Program mentors and buddy up with the mentees. It looked like they were getting on really well, but again, I haven't had feedback from that, but I'm sure that's going to be a winner too. We did a delivering and receiving feedback session, and the fellows did that together and practiced their lightning talks, and then the lightning talks themselves. Everyone's been saying what a winner that was, and just how well they did with that. And then I think because of the success of that, the plenary poster tour was just amazing. That was also a lot of buzz in that room, and some of the feedback was maybe that was a little bit too noisy in that room, but I think the fellows got a lot of good inspiration from that, and for a new initiative from the patient research partners were also giving some commentary and feedback on those posters. It's a good experience for them. And for the first time, we had the working group fellows predominantly report back at the SIGs, and I think they did an amazing job with that. So they were all the new things, and these are the fellows in front of their lightning talk poster. And the key thing about that was if you read the key messages that they were trying to get across, they're all there, and the random stranger at the back of the room got the key messages. So they obviously did a great job. And a lot of other people helped to put us together, the program, but particularly Ayana Kelly. I want to acknowledge her. Thank you.
Here's the new one. We had, I think in the beginning, we announced that we had 24 who were going to be in attendance to the newbie session. We didn't quite have that attendance. We had 12 in the core who actually came every night for us, so they'll be there tonight, I'm sure. But we had to put 12 of those newbies in the outer core because they didn't show up. So they missed out. We had a lot of fun, but we were really happy to have 12 continue with us, and it was a very interesting session. Shauna, as she's so brilliant, organized for us the dating game with the old OMERACtors or senior OMERACtors and the newbies. It was awesome. We had so much fun. I think they didn't like me because I kept going tapping on the shoulder, and they were having such interesting conversations with everyone. They did not want to move. So we actually did get around, and at the end, I said, okay, if you want a second date, we could start over again. But everyone got to see and talk to everyone. It was really interesting. So you've probably heard about the dating game with this. It was great. Ask them with some of the conversations they had, and you'll enjoy that. So instead of this is our 7 daily questions that we ask. This is really interesting and fun. I was shocked at this is just a snapshot of one of the days, but normally Shauna would have edited this. How welcome did you feel in the sessions today? Extremely welcome. I thought that was amazing to have the 82% feel extremely welcome in their session, just a snapshot of that day. Did you understand the different types of the sessions? Extremely well, which is not bad for being new. I was really happy about that one. How well did you understand the OMERACT methodology? Extremely well, 18, but somewhat well, 73%. That's not bad for early in there. That meant that they probably did the modules that we all worked so hard to do and present, so that was fun. How many people did you meet? They met lots of people. It was really good. They had lots of feedback from everyone, so it was awesome during lunch and free time. So we had 6 plus 25% and 4 to 6, 33%. And additional. What was your best experience of the day? Meeting people in person. Everyone said that, so that was great. What experience needs improvement? Oh, I don't know. Too tired to come up with anything meaningful and sensible criticism. It was really funny to answer, and so that was great too. What was the most significant thing you're taking away from OMERACT today? This came out every day, and it was very, very important. We felt this. Our patient partners are valued, and that's so true with everyone that we've seen. So we just took a snapshot here. Every day we did a question of the day, And this was just day one that we asked. So every day we asked this question about the meeting in person, virtual, or hybrid. Of course, by simple, because they were in person. They were like, yeah, in person, of course, we like being here. But they did enjoy this in-person meeting, having been away from everyone. And I don't know, we had some competing forces luring us away there. Someone may have taken over one of our primary newbies. But it was really fun, so thanks to everyone. Oops, sorry.
And this really important group, not that everybody isn't important, but the emerging leaders.
Thank you, Lee. Good afternoon, everyone. So great privilege to present to you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Emerging Leaders Program, because I imagine people have heard little bits but don't really know what it is. So I'm presenting on behalf of Peter Tugwell and myself. Why do we need an Emerging Leaders Program? So if we've just heard, you've got a really great Fellows Program that's been entrenched in this organisation for a very long time. And people that have come through that, when they come back to another OMERACT, there hasn't really been a program that they could join to develop new skills and knowledge to help them get to the more senior parts of OMERACT. And over the course of the week, I've heard different names used for seniors. I knew sort of leader and mentor. Seasoned was a new one that's come to me this week. When the newbies came in, the oldies came out, and I believe there was a newbies oldies dating session this week. Seniors and experts. And so we've really seen the ELP program as the bridge for how do we take people that have been to one OMERACT, so fellows or perhaps newbies, and give them the skills and expertise to help them bridge that gap and progress up the OMERACT skill set. So what is an emerging leader? Fair to say this definition has changed a little bit, and we've kept it very broad. So for this year, it was really, you just had to have been a fellow before and completed the fellow program. And everyone that had done that was coming back to this conference was invited to participate in the ELP program. So it was an opt-in program this year. What was our aim? We actually asked previous fellows this in terms of what are your needs. So we've really tried to tailor the ELP to the various needs of the different types of ELPs coming through. So fostering a sense of connection came out loud and clear as something that was wanted by everyone. Providing a level of peer support, fostering a culture of mentorship throughout OMERACT, facilitating opportunities for networking, having structured opportunities to contribute at the conferences, and then learning the skills and knowledge that you need to be actually really good in those roles. And at the same time, of course, they were exhausted from the Fellows program, as you saw in the feedback, so they wanted to have fun, do all that, and not have it as too much extra work. So we ran a pilot in Terrigal in 2018, and through that, we ran through OMERACT style a Delphi feedback process to look at how should we build the program. And if you haven't seen this paper, I urge you to have a look at it. There's a QR code on that one and the next slide. So we looked at what worked well, what didn't work so well, and what was the future, and how did this align with OMERACT's goals. So this is the structure of the program, and we identified 3 streams of feedback, I guess, of the needs for the emerging leaders. The first one was around mentorship and feedback, and we concentrated on that skill set fairly heavily in Terrigal. The second one was around more advanced understanding of methodology, and also understanding the process, the politics of OMERACT and how to navigate that. Facilitation and leadership was the other key skill set in terms of how to progress a career. And you can see how that aligns with the OMERACT structure of how these streams might help, really create skilled people that might run fellow or ELP programs. They might be members of the TAG group. They might become SIG chairs, working group chairs, or go up to what is now Management Committee or Strategic Advisory Committee. So how do we operationalise it this year? we too had a pre-meeting to try and nut out with the different group that was coming through. We're very aware that the group this year were going to be quite different to the group we had in Terrigal. So we identified their needs and we looked at what part of the themes we could address. So you heard about the mentorship program, and this time we developed some guides for both the mentors and mentees to help that process. The delivering feedback session that you heard was given to the fellows. We used the poster feedback session to actually practice that skill set. In terms of methodology and politics, we had a great closed-door panel session where we had some OMERACT executive and the ELPs had a chance to ask all the curly questions. We focused a lot on how to facilitate leadership development. And fair to say, when you look at where we've spent a lot of the time, it's been in this conference. So we did that by learning about SMART goal setting, psychological safety, and you might have heard that word at dinners around, I certainly did a few times. How to create that, because that is fundamental to the way OMERACT works. If you want people to be able to speak up in the room, you need to create an environment where people feel safe to do that. How do we do that as leaders and facilitators? Engaging success with PRPs, this was a really big, we want this from Terrigal, and so we're really grateful to run a shared experience session with the PRPs this time, and I think fair to say we both learnt a lot from that process. Methodology around reflective practice, we used the leadership action set, so hopefully our ELPs are going to take that home and keep practicing it. And you'll have seen we had lots of opportunities to chair sessions and facilitate. Hopefully what you'll see is the quality of that gets better and better. How did we go? So we delivered 7 workshops, and as you can see, we haven't obviously got formal outcome, but when you have 96% attendance over the course of a really long week, it's usually a fairly good sign that something's going right. We had a really strong connection, I think bond in the group, fair to say that. You will have seen the ELPs up here chairing, putting those skills that we were trying to teach in the workshop, so we chaired 4 of the sessions. I think we've facilitated more than 15 rooms, provided mentorship for 18 fellows, and then we supported that, I think, like many of the other groups, with a WhatsApp group. And again, success of that is, do people actually use it and want to connect? And you can see the types of things that were being put in there with lots of photos, lots of shout outs, which was again trying to create that positive culture of shouting out, you know, when a colleague's done something really well, posting about it in the chat. We had Heidi set up the running group that I know many people have benefited on. Thank you, Heidi. Always know you're doing well when, wow, Heidi gets a big chair. When other people come and find you and say, I've heard about this, can I join it? So we had 3 seasoned OMERACtors that wanted to come in and join, and we let them in the doors a few times just to see what we're doing. So obviously we'll do the formal feedback, and I'll leave you just with some snapshots of some happy chappies from ELP. So thank you very much, everyone.
Well, we've had quite a week. So I think when OMERACT gets really used to you, they start throwing you in the deep end of the pool. Lynn let it slip at lunchtime that I had to give a report back here, so there's no slides, this is very off the cuff. So I'd like to introduce, first of all, my PRP team members. The only one here is Ingrid de Groot. Unfortunately, Mary Cowan and George Casey are both ill and not here. We are a very small team, but we are a very mighty team. So we have 18 PRPs here this year, and 8 of them are brand new. So we buddied up the 8 new PRPs so that they would get some advice from the experienced PRPs. All of us did the 4 e-learning modules so that we would be up to speed and ready to hit the ground running when we got here. And we introduced a few new things this year that haven't been done before. We had happy hours in February, March, and April, where we all met on a Zoom meeting and got to see what each other looked like and talked like, and got to know each other a little bit online before we came here, so we'd all recognize each other when we got here. That's that made an incredible difference, I have to say. So we had the happy hours. We did a gift exchange. So everybody brought something that represented where they were from, and we did a gift exchange last night or 2 nights ago, and we had a ball doing it. It was great. We had some really, really terrific gifts. And we also played a game called Guess Who Said. So Shauna got us all to put down 2 things that nobody knows about us, and so she listed the names and the 2 things, and you had to match everything up. We've had a lot of fun doing that. There's been a lot of suspense, and I'll end the suspense right now saying that I am the one with the honorary brass balls. So we had the first PRP-led session on the peer framework, and at the end of this, we're going to be sending all of the PRPs the Peer 22 evaluation form for them to fill out. We had PRPs presenting in the plenary sessions, the new PRPs that were presenting in the plenary sessions too. So in recognition of OMERACT 23 theme of fostering connections, we decided to have some fun, and we hosted a connection carousel or a speed dating session with the fellows on Monday night. I do apologize for giving Lynn that whistle. I should have collected it back from her at the end of the session. So we had that session, just had a tremendous time. We didn't get to talk to everybody, but we just said out for dinner or drinks or whatever after the session, and that's when you get to, at least you're not that uncomfortable approaching somebody that you don't really know. So we also had the session, as Beth said, we had the session with the Emerging Leaders Group, and I think that was really good. I think it made the PRPs feel pretty special that they were coming to us looking for some advice. So the other thing that we did was the poster session. So because some of our PRPs some of them haven't probably even seen posters before, and many haven't judged posters before, so we made up a little score sheet. We thought it would be fun to get them to actually look at the posters. Now, the criteria we had is not at the level of ACR or ULAR, I'm sure. It's not scientific rigor, but we made up things that were important to them, such as, did the fellow engage you when he or her were presenting their poster? Was there recognition of a PRP in the working group, and was their name on the poster? And, those kind of things that are important to the PRPs. So we thought, well, since we're scoring them, why don't we kind of add up those scores and see how it came out? So we have 1, 2, and 3. And as I said, there's no scientific rigor to this, but coming from the PRPs, there's a lot of heart involved in this. So I would like to announce the bronze certificate will go to Caitlin Jones for her e-learning sessions. And further to the theme that we have tonight with the Olympic Museum, we have some...
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Second goes to Melissa Oliver for the CNO SAFO working group poster, and I know she left. I passed her out the front, so we'll work on getting that one to her. And I am pleased to say that gold goes to Laura Chapman from the Foot and Ankle group. I think the PRPs really learned a lot and will work next year to maybe, or not next year, sorry, Shauna, not next year. That we'll work on it and maybe tighten those things up. Maybe we'll work with the fellows and the emerging leaders and see if we can't tighten up some of those things that we're looking at. And maybe we're going to feed back some constructive comments to Lynn that she can distribute to the fellows so they can, maybe sharpen things up a little bit, knowing that there's going to be some PRPs looking. And the last thing we have this afternoon, I'd like to bring Shauna up here. Shauna is quite simply my sister from another mister. And I just want to say, I'm not going to get too wordy about it because she can read it in the card, but Shauna's constant and unwavering support has enabled me, the PRP support team, and the whole PRP group to achieve new heights in our participation in OMERACT. Thank you to everyone who supports the PRP team and the PRP group in general. Your support is amazing. Thank you.
So we have one more official presentation, and our illustrious chairman will present that.
It has just come to our notice that Caitlin Jones should not be here. She should be in Sydney receiving her PhD at the convocation today. Isn't that fantastic? So, in true OMERACT style, I'm going to invite one of the professors who should also be in the procession at the University of Sydney's convocation today to OMERACT style deliver a OMERACT certificate to Caitlin. Come here. The music, please. And Cos. We can see him.
We can see you still, so get back in here. So we tried something different this year, and we've, I think, had a very successful time. We've already thanked Shauna, but we also have to thank Stacy and Maria, who have actually served to make this all happen. And it's a team, and it was very good. But in addition, we actually have a spectacular AV group, and they feel so relieved that we didn't vote. So they're really happy about that. But relatively speaking, we'd like to thank the AV group as well. So Maria, Stacy. Again, Shauna. And the AV group back there, Carlos and his team. Thank you all for coming. It's been a real pleasure.